You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
So wish I thought that Charlie kind of doing a little beard check, but
no, you ain't got to go back, bro. Go T shouty. Gotta get it right.
Hold on. What goatee?
Bro, this is a goatee, bro. This is a goatee right here.
This. Kind of wanna. It's been a good news week. Seeing Dolphins players, Mike McDrip. Wow. Mike McDaniel, when you got Mike McDrip on the mind, when you got Mike McDaniel, leading his first training sessions, I guess, Tua out there slinging the rock, Tyreek Hill making catches. It's good to see, the new guys kind of look like they're settling well so far. And I'm still not saying the 3 words, but I'm still excited. But overall, how you been?
I'm coolin'. Kadeem just said it's a good news week, and we got more good news for this episode. If y'all haven't caught the last episode of Mike McDrip, tore it down, gave away the Javon Holland cleats autograph, game worn, awesome episode. But let's get into more good news. It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. I'm Charlie Touche. Got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me, and we got a guest back to the show again. ShareRide Steve is in the building. ShareRide Steve. Been a minute, man. What's up, bro?
Good, man. Doing good. A little under the weather today, but I really wanted to do this, so I manned up, and I'm here.
Man, under the weather? That's something like Kadeem can't play through injury. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always go to the IR. I'm not going to make it today. You feel me? So it's good that you could give something to the team, bro. I appreciate you.
I did my best.
Sorry. I know, Mr. You've literally, the last season alone, you must have missed about a month minimum a month worth of videos. Like, dude, we're not even going to go to this. We have, he's not a guest, he's family, but we don't need to air out our dirty laundry when family comes around, especially when family comes around with I said the kind of off like a new trim, like kind of like a slip back in the side. It's very I like it a lot.
It reminds me of like a new age pastor. What's going on here, Steve?
It's that Euro look, man.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But you got to throw the little hands back in the hair. I like it.
You got to run through it, man. You got to run through it.
I love it, man. Hey, so Steve, bro, I don't even know. We talk so much that I don't even know if you've been on air with us to talk about the new transactions and the vibe around the organization. What's your take on everything that's going on right now for the Dolphins?
I absolutely love it, man. I think it has been a while, but I think McDaniel got hired, and then I was on right after. So I did talk about that. It was, but he didn't do any media sessions or anything, and it was really nice because what we heard about him, the genius and him being charismatic and the players, having great communication with players and whatnot, it's just lived up to be true. The guy's got personality, he's likable, and he's got great energy, and it's a different energy, obviously, from Flores. It's night and day, and we needed, I think, a little switch up, and I love everything that's going on right now. I really do.
So I literally just took a quick look, and you haven't been on since February. We just hired Pat Surtain and Sam Addison, so it's been a while. And part of the reason why I love when ShareRide Steve comes on the show more than anyone else, and I love when all of our guests and family and friends come on, but I always feel like ShareRide Steve comes like prepared. He's always got like bullets in the chamber. It's like, okay, on this episode, Charlie said this, and on this episode, Kadeem said that, and I feel like there's always that, but I kind of feel like maybe because of the atmosphere and kind of how the past, I guess, 2 months now have kind of gone. It's mostly been a lot of like we haven't really disagreed on much. I know I kind of checked on my phone. The last time I messaged you was when we just signed Tyreek Hill. So that, again, like we haven't really, or I haven't got your thoughts. I know you speak to Charlie a lot more. I haven't got your thoughts and opinion on Tyreek Hill, on free agency in general, and I think especially. I'm not going to put words in your mouth in terms of your thoughts and feelings towards quarterback Tua and stuff like that. But what do you think the moves we've made, including the coaching hires and stuff like that? What do you think that says about Tua's or what you expected from Tua in year 3? And speak about the free agency signings, I guess.
So it's funny when Charlie and I were texting, and I've been MIA for couple of weeks now. I've been just busy. But when Hill was going on prior to that, Adams, I hated it. I hated it for the Raiders. I thought the compensation was much too high. And I think Charlie even said it on the show, said that I personally would only do that for a quarterback. And then one thing I didn't realize at the time was Adams wasn't getting $28 million. See, these contracts are always funny. It's now – you see the bottom ticker on ESPN and you see the big number of 150, 200 or whatever. Then you got to peel back, the onion a bit and see what the real guarantees are, what the contract really is. So when I saw that, I don't even know for sure what Adams is making, like 22, somewhere in that range. I was like, okay, that's a little more realistic for me. And then with Hill, what I loved it. That morning, one of my buddies that I always talk smack with, he's a Jet fan, unfortunately. He was excited. He wanted Hill. And I'm like, there's no way. He ain't picking the Jets over the Dolphins. And he swore up and down it was going to happen. So I just got that morning excited. Like, I'm just talking smack, texting with my boy. I was like, here we go. Because most importantly, if we got Adams, cool. He's no doubt, you can say, the best wideout in the game. No argument. But it's different because McDaniel being so creative, I think the way he can utilize Hill, like he did with Debo, I love the marriage. That's what excited me, because we're going to see Adams isn't going to be in the backfield. That's not him.
Nah, never.
But Hill, you don't know where he's going to be. That guy is going to be everywhere, in the slot, outside, in the backfield, running reverses all day. And the versatility, and then with Waddle, obviously the speed, it's just going to really keep people on their toes. And I just thought if we had Flores, we had the last regime in, I'm not as excited.
No,
I'm not. So it's now he has some really fun toys to play with, man. And I know he's in his little man cave he just can't wait to draw these plays up and see him live. You cannot be excited. And everyone else, Wilson, I thought Wilson was a solid hire. I was a little salty at the very beginning because I thought there was some really good value contracts we kind of missed on. Miles Jack going to Pittsburgh for $8 million on a 2-year deal. There was a couple of contracts like, wow, I wish we could get on some of this, but I wasn't too nervous. I didn't take a potty break on the Greer train. I was just like, let's see how it plays out. And I didn't expect that, to be honest, but I'm more than happy with really overall. Connor Williams is okay. I was more excited at first, and then digging in, he's got talent, but man, I knew about the penalties, but watch the tape against Aaron Donald, and I know it's Aaron Donald, but man, it was abuse to the highest level.
Yeah, we try to educate the viewers and the listeners on Go Time Dolphins about APY, average per year, when it comes to contracts. And you know, the nuances and machinations of a deal. It's not always just a big number. So shout out to Steve for pointing that out. Man, Steve over here looking like a rock star, bro. I like it. Got the cut going. Like he looked like a lead singer of GTD. You know what I'm saying? Go Time Dolphins lead singer. I like it.
I'm not just saying this, yeah. Steve is talking. I'm just like watching him, like, dude, this is a handsome dude. Like, wow. Like, if like, obviously the show is like, you know, it's me and Charlie. But if going forward, like Steve is the face of Go Time Dolphins, I am not going to be angry. Literally, I'm like, no word ever lie, hand on my heart. I was looking, like, I'm really into our stats at the moment. And at the moment, like, we have no female viewers, 0. That's going to change now. ShareRide Steve, and he does a little hand through his hair. Oh my god! Like
once every 10 minutes or so, right?
James Bond. I'll tell you now, ShareRide Steve, James Bond. Just
this guy,
perfect.
Kadeem coming off the top rope, man. I like it. But yeah, back to what you were saying, Steve. Devontae Adams, bro. And we said it via text message, me and you, and then I came on air and said it, and I said, you know what? That's a lot to give up. I wouldn't want to do that. I would not like it for my team to give up so much capital, and it's almost as if you can't do your job in the war room and draft the right people and build the right team. It's almost like you're looking for a bailout when you go for one man to get to give up this compensation for these picks and to give this one man that type of money. And then I also said right after that, I would still be excited if they did it. So although I don't have to agree with doing it, I'm still gonna check my post, Kadeem. You know what I'm saying? So check your post, like, bro, like it's exciting times. And Steve, I'm glad we got you on because I said something on this podcast that I kind of try to bring back a little bit. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say this on the podcast, but I had already said it and I had to just get behind it. And you're the perfect person to ask. And I'm ready for whatever comes my way. But on paper, do you think this is the best Dolphins team we ever had on paper?
Oh. You put me on the spot there. I would say, man, this is going back. I'm dating my age a bit. I remember towards the end of Shula's run when we signed Eric Green. And I remember the energy, man, was legit. It was, we felt like that was almost going to put us over the top. And then when JJ came in, we had talent, especially on the defense, but the offense just never looked right. And it wasn't, and I'm not going to talk bad about Marino. He's, he walks on water, that man to me. Mm-hmm. But, he wasn't the same guy at the end of his career, obviously. So, there's no doubt since the 90s that this is, without question, on both sides of the ball, obviously.
Bro, so I'm not even going to lie to you, bro. I was a little timid when I said it. I'm like, they're going to come at my dome. And then the more I got behind, I'm like, nah, man. If you think of the Marino teams, when Marino was super nice, we didn't have that defense. And then he never had a running back. The receivers were always cool enough. They were good enough. But then when towards the end of his career, we had that defense, but then we didn't have the offense where we needed to be. And then Marino was too old. And if you go back to, okay, well, you guys went undefeated back-to-back Super Bowls. Those teams, we have the nickname, the no-name defense, because there wasn't people on there that was just super notable, right? So yeah, you had your Zonkas and your Mercury Morrises and your Greasies, but as a team collectively, I think when you look at this 2022 Miami Dolphins roster, what's going to happen is 8 years from now, they're going to look back on 2022 when ShareRide Mini is 10 and says, oh, we got 2 Super Bowls. And then his dad's going to say, well, you don't know how long we had to wait for them Super Bowls, right? I think everyone's going to look on paper and say Javon Holland, Brandon Jones, Tua, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. I think they're going to Xavier Howard. I think they're going to look back and say, hey, I don't know how the Dolphins put that team together, but that's how you get a ring out of that. And I believe that.
And I'm really not trying to, trip up anyone on this podcast, even though on the last episode I kind of called out for my questioning. It is what it is. Steve, do you think with the talent around him now, we're going to see, and like you would like to think we're going to see a better Tua? Like if we don't see a better Tua with this talent, then we have genuine problems. But a question that's kind of going around social media and stuff like that is, what's acceptable for Tua this season? But some people are saying he needs 4,000 yards and X amount of touchdowns. Everyone's kind of saying he's got to get to the playoffs. For you, what's acceptable for Tua to get a fourth year in Miami?
To me, it's not just W's with Tua. There is more. I know, Kadeem, you said you don't care what the stat line looks like at all. If he goes, 2 games in a row, 120 and then 130 passing yards and 1 touchdown or 2 touchdowns, you're fine. You don't care. To me, that it does matter because we're going to be behind in games most likely at some point this year. It's going to happen, and we're going to need to come back. And when you come back, you got to – it's not just us as fans, but that team, that coaching staff, everyone in that building has to believe that Tua can do it. That if we're down by two touchdowns, 21 points even, that you can't go 2 weeks in a row throwing for a little over 100 yards and then say, okay, well, let's just flick on this switch and then second half Tua give us 350 and X amount of yards. Like, he needs to have some consistency and prove that he's capable of lighting up the scoreboard and not winning ugly. He's got to have some nice looking games. And I think it's most importantly, like I said, for the confidence of everyone, because Brady won that Super Bowl against the Falcons. They had no business winning. But do you think anyone really on that sideline was like shaking, like, wow, we're done? No, you believe in the guys next to you. And we were missing that last year, clearly. All the reports, we saw it all. People were not on the same page. I feel like there's no reason. Everyone's on the same, in that locker room at least. Everyone's like, okay, the vibe's good. We're feeling good. We re-signed our players. Gesicki, he got tagged, but he's still coming back. I think the energy, the vibe's good. Now it's like performing time. And W's are important, but I think Tua needs to have some nice games. It doesn't have to be every week. I'm not saying the guy has to be top 5 in most categories or even top 10 necessarily, but he needs to have a couple wow games. And I would like to see him earlier in the year rather than later. I want to come out of the gates hot like we used to. Marino days, it's hot in Miami. Like, people used to come down here and just die. Like, we need that home field advantage again. So yeah, that to me, I know it's not a great detail, but more than anything, it's him just sparking and coming out. W's obviously yes, but ultimately showing that he can be an elite passer at times.
Yeah, I think, and again, I know I kind of differ from a lot of fans in terms of the stats and stuff like that, because for his first 2 years, like, he's got the wins. Like, he's over 500 in terms of wins, and that's not good enough. So I think people say, no, he needs to go 13-4 this season. It's like, but that can't be it, because he doesn't have a losing record. It's not like he's got a losing record, so you now want to see him get the wins. He's got the wins. And obviously, yeah, the stats are beautiful, but we've also seen, and this is kind of going back to those early Tua arguments. But when it was like, well, when I myself will bring up that the Chiefs game and stuff like that, was like, well, he had the yards, yeah, but he lost that game. It's like, see, this is what I mean. Like, I think with some, and this is with some Tua haters, it's never going to be enough. But I think, I'm not trying to put words into your mouth, but I think for you and for a lot of others as well, it's, you just want to see that he's got it, that undescribable. That you can't coach it. You want to see that. Some people say the fire in his eyes, or whatever it is. It's like, it's the pardon?
Intangibles.
That's exactly what I'm going to say. It's that, backed against the wall, Tua's going to stand up, chuck his helmet on, and you're like, you know what? Yeah, he's got this. And even if he doesn't, even if the Dolphins ultimately lose that game, it's like, it's not because of Tua, because Tua, he was making excellent throws, making excellent reads and stuff like that. And I think, yeah, there had been times over the past 2 years where you're just like, Tua, you left some yards on the field. Like, you left some points on the field. I think, if he can not have that, if he can come out of games like Tua done every single thing he could to win, and the supporting cast help, and he had a run game and the offensive line, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I literally wanted to get your opinion on that simply because with the additions we've made, yes, hopefully we are going to see Alabama Tua and not Brian Flores, Miami Dolphins Tua.
What do you think the season looks like? Like, just personal opinion. You see all the transactions and acquisitions, and you know where we were last year as a team. I think all three of us here like Flores. I think all three of us here like McDaniel. What do you think the season looks like? I know what you want to see, like you just mentioned it. I think we all expect playoffs for sure, but as far as not just goals and milestones, what do you think the season will look like in your opinion?
Well, yeah, obviously, we're in the honeymoon phase with McDaniel. Everything, they're going to say all the nice things, and you get all the warm and fuzzies, and you're going to be positive. I will say this about Flores, and I was, you can easily go find the tape of me talking Flores on this podcast. I was a big fan, and I thought if we fired him, he'd be scooped up in no time. Obviously, the lawsuit put a little wrinkle in that, but I will be honest. Now, looking back at it, I have changed a bit on Flores, quite a bit, to be honest with you. And I'll tell you why. That first year, it was so incredible. That roster was so bad. It wasn't even – he had a JV football team. It was – we know how bad it was. It was – I remember before the first game and that whooping we took from the Ravens that first week. My God. What a
It was terrible.
We picked up – go ahead.
No, I was saying I was at Twin Peaks embarrassed, but go ahead.
Yeah, we picked up our tackle or whoever it was at the time, I forget, someone cut him. Oh yeah, you're starting tomorrow type thing. It was so bad. And then he somehow won 5 games. And then to top it all off, to this day, one of my favorite Dolphin victories is the New England game. How we went into New England, a must-win game for them, and beat Tom Brady. Now, if you just take that, remove that season, and just pretend that didn't happen, and then look at 2 and 3, how do you feel about Flores? I think he sold himself so much that first year, at least to me personally, and I think to a lot of people, like, wow, this guy can coach. Like, if you give him that and he can squeak out some wins, imagine if you give him talent. Well, we did give him some talent, and he didn't handle it well. And then, obviously, stuff that we always criticize was the coaching. What's this coordinator stuff going on? Like, there was stuff that we never liked, but we never went hard in the paint on them because we're like, yo, this first year, I guess whatever you're doing is working. Like, we're going to give you a longer leash to have more freedom. So with that being said, I am more, to circle back to what you asked, I am excited because I feel like the coaching was kind of subpar. My biggest question isn't McDaniel this year. I know I'm very confident in the offense. I really am. I think he's gonna make us a top 10 offense, in my opinion. But it's Boyer that I'm like, okay, who's the real Boyer? It's like the Scooby-Doo episode, man. Like, let's go pull off this mask and who's the real man? Are you Flores under there? Are you Boyer? Like, who was the man that turned around our defense last year? Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. I think the expectations should be real. There's no reason for them not to be. The draft hasn't even come, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some more fireworks because we have so much capital next year. There's no reason we can't jump up in the second round if someone's free falling, a center or something. So I think it's going to even get better. But Yeah, I'm going to say, realistically, the playoffs are real, and the AFC is so stacked. But we got to take New England out, in my opinion. Buffalo is probably, I think, the best team in the AFC right now. And then you go down the line, I see other teams possibly fumbling. They're kind of fresh. Denver, it's new. Might take them a little while to get rolling. So, yeah, man, I'm very optimistic. I believe in McDaniel. My question is defense. I say playoffs should be not even the bar. I mean, that's like minimum. That's.
Bro, that was the best take we've had in like 2 months on this show. Because everything you
Ouch.
said, no, for real. It was just so real. Because we gave Flores benefit of the doubt when the O-line never got fixed. Benefit of the doubt when Chan Gailey came in. Benefit of the doubt with the OCs. Benefit of the doubt with everything on our offensive side of the ball. And even gave him benefit of the doubt when there was a 7-game losing streak somehow. You see what I'm saying? So he built the cachet with us. And again, this is not a knock on dude because we all still like him. So he built the cachet with us, and we were like, well, it can't be Flores, right? It can't be Flores. So now what you said about Boyer, you could sprinkle in some Gerald Alexander in there too. Because he was on, his wife was on Twitter saying, oh, he was the puppet behind the curtain. So I 100% with you with this Mike McDaniel thing. Yeah, I think offense is going to be straight. Any way you can get Jimmy Garoppolo to 2 NFC championships in 3 years and a Super Bowl somehow, I don't care who your quarterback is, you're going to make it. So I'm not concerned about our offense. But our defense is now the question. We still lost 7 games in a row last year. That was a real thing. And all we did was bring back the exact same defense. So the proof is going to be in the pudding. And we're going to get our answers, the answers of who was responsible for those 7 games. Was it Boyer and then Flores came in and said, I'm taking over, and he righted the ship? Or was it Flores wanting to do his own sauce, and then we got back to what we used to be? Tune in on the next Go Time Dolphins, right? Like you don't know. We don't know what the answer is. But you also said the AFC teams. For my dollar, I like to say that KC has the best coaching still in the AFC West. If you look at the coaching in the AFC West, yes, they lost Tyreek Hill with KC, but you trust Josh McDaniels right now with his first year. He was a terrible head coach in Denver. Now he has Carr and Adams, but is that enough to compete with Andy Reid and Mahomes? I don't think it is. You have the first year of Russell Wilson with a first-time head coach in Denver. I don't know if you could put all your eggs in that basket either. So, yeah, the AFC is stacked. Who I am concerned about, the Chargers, you're still going to have the Chiefs. You're still going to have Buffalo. I'm not worried about what's this team in the Northeast, New England? Like, I'm not worried about them boys. I know y'all boys like Mac Jones, and Kadeem loves Mac Jones and then loves to say, oh, I didn't say that, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I'm not worried about the Patriots. I think the Dolphins, we're not sneaking up on nobody now, but I think the Dolphins are going to do what they have to do. And you know how we say here on GTD, just make it to the dance, and then it's all, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, man, that was a solid take, bro. For real.
5-yard Lee, if you're listening, that was Charlie taking a shot at your dome. So Charlie, because 5-yard Lee came on this show and was like, yeah, I'm worried about Mac Jones going to the Patriots. We got photographic evidence of 5-yard Lee saying that. So unless you're gonna say, well, I wasn't talking to 5-yard Lee as well, that's all I'm saying.
And we could throw 5-yard Lee in there. Hold on, Kadeem. We could throw 5-yard Lee in there, but we could also throw I'm not afraid of Mac Jones. Steve, you afraid of Mac Jones? Yes, I'm afraid of Mac Jones. Kadeem, you afraid of Mac Jones? I'm absolutely afraid of Mac Jones. Don't forget that episode now. I'm just saying. We can go back to that too. Check the tapes.
That's fine.
I was just going to say, it's hard to find an NFL quarterback, as we know, the past 2 decades have been, especially from 2000 on to 2010 or whatever. It was very convenient for New England to get a I think, a very serviceable
Yeah.
quarterback that just kind of fell to them at 15. That's what I didn't like about it. It was more like I felt like they got great value. This guy isn't a superstar, but it was more annoying than like, man, why can't you go try to draft a third rounder, another Jimmy G type situation. But no, that's why it was a all right. It looks like they're not gonna drop back as fast or as far as we were hoping for him. But anyway, sorry, I had to defend myself a little bit.
No. I'm glad you did. The quarterback number 12, he was mentioned on this pod, and I think you've seen it, Charlie. I know ShareRide Steve definitely has. Sean Payton came out and I wouldn't say discussed, but he mentioned the rumors that the Dolphins were going to make a play for him. I have the quotes up, so if you bear me 2 seconds while I get that quickly. Charlie, if you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, what do you make of the whole situation in general?
I just texted Steve yesterday about Sean Payton, and Sean Payton just came out and said it was a real thing. Like we were talking to whoever, and somebody reached out to me, and it was an actual thing. That's what Sean Payton said. And with the Brady stuff, or with the 12 stuff, I mean, if there's smoke, there's fire for sure. But I have no interest in having this guy say he owned us his whole career and then come play for us and then be a part-time, like a minority owner for real in real life. I have no interest in that. I don't know how my body would react to seeing him and then unretire Greasy's number. Nah, bro, I'm not here for that. But I this is not one of my favorite topics, if I'm being honest with you. Go ahead, Steve. What you got?
Yeah, no, I loved the McDaniel hire, but I wasn't shy about saying Harbaugh and Payton were my 2 top choices. McDaniel was 3. Yeah, it's not. I watched the vast majority of that Payton when he was exiting the team, the media, and he's just jumping off a sinking ship down in New Orleans. Like, he doesn't have a quarterback. Winston, it's just, Winston and cap issues. And I'm surprised they're not blowing it up. So then it was compensation. Then we'd have to do another situation where we're trading draft picks for a coach. That would have been a little awkward, but I didn't think that was on the table at all. When I was watching the press conference, it seemed like a guy that was just like, I got to just take a year off because I want to get out of here, but that's my only option. And that's what he did. The 12 stuff, it just makes sense. Like you said, there's smoke, there's fire. The Ross connection, it's real. I mean, they bump elbows. And Brady is now living in Miami, so he has a big house that they just built or bought. So it does make all the sense. And Brady finally come out and he's like, I realize I don't have that much more time. So I think this is probably his last year. I mean, I know, Ed, we've been saying that for 8 years or whatever, but it gets to a point where it's going to be one hit now. I mean, it's going to happen sooner eventually.
Trent Green on the menu.
Yeah. So I don't think too much of it, and then I'm seeing reports that Payton's coming next year, and that's going to happen now.
I didn't catch that one. I didn't get wind of that one. Before I jump in though, what did you think, Kadeem?
So I'll bring the quote back up again. Payton says, "I have no clue about the Tampa Bay Miami Dolphins Tom Brady rumor. My understanding is that a request was put in, or the oh my day, I can't say that word. Intermediaries. No, try this again. Is that the word? Intermediaries?
Intermediaries.
That's it. There we go. Wow. Journalist. Wow.
400.
I'm like the rest of you. I heard that story. To me, it basically sounded like the Dolphins can do some very, very dumb things. Like, we all know that. But to kind of put it into a Go Time Dolphin situation, this would be like LB reaching out to ShareRide Steve and 5 Yard Lee saying, "Hey, how do you guys kind of like want to make 2 of 4 and join the Go Time Dolphins thing? It's not official, but I kind of want to get your take on it and stuff like that." That's basically what it sounds like. Someone, and no one's ever going to know who until people start dying and books and stuff gets released. It sounds like someone kind of reached out to John Payton and was like, how does it sound to you? But I think, like what Steve was saying, it sounds like Payton was like, I can't get out of New Orleans. Like, unless you're going to have to pay like maybe a first or a second, I can't get out. So I'm going to need to leave, sit on my sofa for a while, and then come back. Listen, I was listening to the Dolphin UK podcast and 5 Yard League, and that lot put it so well. I think the way in which the summer or the spring and summer has gone so far, and that we got Mike McDaniel and Tyreek Hill and stuff like that, this whole 12 and Payton thing, Dolphin fans actually don't care anymore because we got Mike McDaniel, we got Tyreek Hill, we got Teron Armstead. Had this been free agency started and the Dolphins missed out on everyone, and we're getting the B, C, not even a B, like the C, D list, like free agents is like we haven't improved, and then the story comes out, and we didn't get Mike McDaniel, we got, I'm not even gonna say Urban Meyer, but someone's like really, this is what we did? Like, you fired Brian Flores and you brought this guy in, and all that kind of stuff, and you paid Christian Kirk 18. Like, really? I think this story, everyone knew, like, Dolphins, you messed up. You should have gone. You should have taken a hit, got Payton, got 12. But because that's not the case, Dolphin fans are like, yeah, we don't care. Like, if anything, good, because we've got the fastest, and I'm basically paraphrasing what Dolphin UK said, but we've got the fastest team in the league. We're excited. We've got a coach who, is probably the second coolest Miami Dolphins person outside of ShareRide Steve, when he puts his hair through his hands through his hair.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it, baby. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I think had the circumstances been different, this would have been a thing, but it's not. And Dolphin fans are like, okay, cool. Like, it's a nothing story.
Hey, come on over to bonus time with us. We're gonna chop it up. I got another question for ShareRide Steve, man. Steve, before we go into bonus time, and I thought about why you haven't been on the show lately. I'm like, how does this happen, right? And I remember now that we still had the quarterback ranking episode that we never even did. So that's here nor there. It's not really on us. It's just on life. The Flores stuff happened, and then a whole bunch of other stuff happened. But we're still going to get this quarterback ranking episode out there. But there's some unfinished business we got to settle. And if you hung around the show to hear this, congratulations to you, because we got another giveaway. Last year, we all had a bet here on this show about who the Dolphins would select with their fifth pick, right? Waddle was fifth.
Wasn't he sixth?
Sixth. See, I can't even remember. So 6th overall pick. The Dolphins traded back and traded back up, and we had a couple bets on the line. And shout out to ShareRide Steve for being the honorable person he is. He lost the bet, and he's going to pay up via a Jalen Waddle jersey giveaway. And it's not just a Jalen Waddle jersey. It's a Jalen Waddle jersey fit to size. So if you win, you get to tell us your size of the Jalen Waddle jersey that you want, and we will give it to you in your size. Shout out to ShareRide Steve. We appreciate you coming on to do that, bro.
I'm happy to do it, but at the same time, I need to get some revenge on you. So we'll be thinking up with some bets in the future.
For sure. And it's funny how all of us love Jalen Waddle now. So it's like it works out. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative for Kadeem Simmons and the lead singer of GTD, ShareRide Steve. I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time.
That's for the fans
Already.
and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Steve, can you sing?
Absolutely not.
So, doing a remix of the theme tune with Steve singing, and that's not a thing that can happen now.
I sing in my truck, in the shower a little bit. Sing for my boy. We have little jam sessions at night before he goes to sleep, but it is not really meant for the public or anyone else to really hear. They don't want to hear.
Fun fact, I can make anybody sound good in the studio. I'm dead serious. It doesn't matter how bad you sing. I can find your key. We could get the tone right, and I can make anybody sound good in the studio. Just a fun fact. So, Steve, you mentioned how you wouldn't be surprised if we move back up into the second round. We currently only have a third round pick, which is a compensatory pick. So it's 103 maybe.
I think it's 102.
102. Shout out to Stat Check, Fact Check. And then we have a fourth round pick, and then we have a seventh round pick. So I can see us packaging 3 and 4 and probably moving up a little bit, or even just moving out the draft completely. Like, hey, here goes 3 and 4, and we want a 2 next year or something. Who knows what the case may be. But you mentioned potentially moving up into the second round, and I'm thinking, although I believe Tua is the quarterback, I genuinely believe that. I think he's going to prove himself this year, and all those picks next year, we're going to do whatever we want to do with them. We're going to make the team better. We're going to get the depth that we need. We're going to be up against the cap moving forward now because we're going to have a lot of people to pay. However, what we could do with these picks are, Deebo Samuel is still in flux with San Fran. You have other people who, shout out to Anthony Barr, by the way, another sneaky free agent acquisition that could be made, that he's just out there on the market. We could pick him up after the draft. But here's my thing, Steve. Tua doesn't pan out. You have all this capital, right? You have Lamar Jackson out there. He's talking about a contract that hasn't gotten paid yet. Tom Brady won't be under contract. And then, that was the rumor on Twitter. Oh, he's going to Miami next year. Tua doesn't pan out this year. What direction do you think Miami goes with all of those picks? Like, do you think they trade up to get CJ Stroud, or what's your boy name from Alabama? Young cat, Bryant, is it?
Yeah, Young.
Yeah, young. Right. So do you think they trade all the way up and get the new best thing, or do you think they go established and we're trading the house, and let's talk to Lamar Jackson, or let's holler at Tom Brady, since he's on his last leg, but maybe he could get us one Super Bowl before he goes out?
I don't know, man. That's a loaded question, because I knew a long time ago I didn't like this quarterback class coming out.
Mm-hmm.
That was something, and I still don't. I wouldn't take any of these guys in the first round. And then next year, I don't know. I know Young will be coming out, and then you said Stroud, but no, I don't even think this is a make or break year for Tua. I think he actually has 2 years with McDaniel, in my opinion. I just, unless it'd be injuries more than anything, I don't see performance-wise him playing so badly that they're just like, okay, we got to move on, because it's really the contract. And that's why I would like them to be a little aggressive moving up in the draft this year, because we're on that rookie deal with Tua. And there's no reason to sit back and like, oh, it's, even if Tua is the guy, and then we can just make a bunch of draft picks next year. Well, then that's nice for cap purposes down the road and everything, but we have a window right now, and I'd like to strike fast, and everyone else is striking too. So I wouldn't. 12 isn't going to be a thing. I don't want Jackson. I think Jackson would really be interested in Miami. He's from Pompano Beach. His family's all down here. It makes a lot of sense. And I like how he's handled his business with the contract. Everyone's always trying to get paid quick as possible because they think they're going to get hit by a bus tomorrow or something. But no, they're just, why don't you just wait? We'll get one other dude, two other dudes, three other dudes get paid.
Yeah.
Boom, you just made another 40, 50 million. It's like, it's really that simple. So for me, it might change next year. And if I like a quarterback a lot, and if Tua can't play, if it would be health purposes, yeah, that would be my biggest red flag. I think performance-wise in this offense, he's going to look, I don't want to say good enough, but he's going to look the part.
He's going to look the part.
Look the part.
You know, that's funny because that's a testament to who you are, Steve. You don't have to hate anyone. You can dislike someone and still have a valid opinion on, no, we still need to keep this person because he's going to be good enough. He's going to be good enough to get us where he needs to take us. So that's an awesome take right there. And I know we have fans that might not feel the same way, that they can't get out of their own way when it comes to their disdain for Tua. And not saying that you have disdain for Tua, but there are people who do. And if I'm being honest with you, empty the chamber. You have all of these draft picks, and I'm going to be – a lot of people won't like this. Lynn Bowden Jr. may not be around 2 years from now. So if you just look at the contracts, you have Jalen Waddle for sure going to be here. Tyreek Hill for sure going to be here. Cedric Wilson will be here for 2 years. But after that, there's no more receivers on the roster. And now this is me putting my Chris Greer hat on, projecting like, all right, how do we make sure we're still a unit moving forward where there's not so much turnover? And the way you do that is you keep drafting. And now, 2 years from now, you already drafted the next best thing behind Waddle 2 years prior, and now your contracts are in order, in line. You're not overpaying anywhere. So I'm here for the trading next year's capital. I don't know if I would trade all of it to go all in on this year, but for sure, I need to see. It's not even a need to see. I know Tua is going to perform good enough to where we could use all of those picks on getting things to make this team better. You didn't see Seattle and the Legion of Boom going to hold them back. You know what I'm saying? They went all in, should have went back-to-back Super Bowl champions, but was it back-to-back? Well, they should have won 2 Super Bowls. And they, had they won the ball, who knows what would have happened. So you don't see teams still knocking on the door of being a great team and saying, oh, well, let's save some of the stuff. When Tampa, the past 2 years, they went all out. They didn't hold back. Like, yo, let's not hold back. Let's spend all of these picks, spend all of this cash. Don't do it halfway. So that's where I'm at with it. Where you at, Kadeem?
I think, and I wanted to mention this on the Mike McDrip episode, but I think it really stands out now. And if you go back and listen to the Myles Gaskin episode, and again, we've said it on this show multiple times, when friend of the podcast, Myles Gaskin, 40 Acres and a Hellcat, speaks about that rookie year and being able to just sit and learn. And I think, the Dolphins right now have all these running backs, but there's still talk of, going and get a James Cook or someone. And, if you can project 2-3 years into the future, but if you can get the guys now. So, I'm not saying that every guy you draft this year doesn't play until 2 years, because you've basically waited 2 years of their rookie contracts. But if you at least know, well, you know what, I'll draft a receiver in the 3rd round this year, because at the end of next year, I'm going to need to make some moves to free up some cap. And then Cedric Wilson might have to go after 1 year and stuff like that. And it's just about kind of like, if you give this rookie wide receiver at least, the first 7-8 weeks to really learn the playbook. Like, the one thing, and you obviously mentioned it in that Brian Flores first year where we were signing guys on the Friday and they were shooting up on the Sunday. Like, the Dolphins don't need that. The wide receiver room right now is healthy. If we're seeing too much Preston Williams, then I guess we kind of have an issue. But you know what I mean, though? Kind of like just having a few guys who we can slowly develop, and you might see glimpses of them throughout the season, but next year is going to be their year when again you potentially have to move on from a Cedric Wilson, because actually Mike Gesicki balls out and the Dolphins need to pay him and they need to keep him? Or, you know, do you have to go and find a defensive tackle this year because next year you're not going to keep, Christian Wilkins? And I want to keep Christian Wilkins. But again, the one thing that Chris Greer does amazingly is he does think into the future. He does make sure that these contracts aren't, completely team destroying. And you do see people, like, someone like a Zach Sealer who just quietly goes about his job. No one his PFF grades are amazing, and he just but he doesn't get the headlines. It's trying to find a few more of those guys, I guess, so that in a few years' time, if the offense is completely balling out and Tyreek Hill's still here, and you pay Jalen Waddle and you pay Tua, and the offensive line is now amazing, you're going to need to some of these guys you drafted 2-3 years ago. Hopefully they're ready and stuff like that. So, hope that kind of answers the question.
Hey, you got anything you want to say before we get up out of here, Steve?
No, I said, no, I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on, as always. It's always a good time talking to you boys. And let's get that QB episode in, man. I
got to,
was
bro.
holding back a little bit on this episode, to be honest with you. So
we got to. We have all off season now. Like we'll get. Matter of fact, I was about to say between us, but we live now. Me and Steve have already agreed on we're gonna do more than just a QB episode, QB ranking. We're gonna do a running back ranking and then receiver ranking as well. So listen, if you hung around this long, Jalen Waddle jersey giveaway. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Tell us what position you think the Dolphins will draft first in this draft. Coming up, 2022 NFL draft. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Mention the position that you believe will draft first and leave your jersey size. Screenshot it. Send it to us on our social media at GoTime Dolphins to enter a chance to win this Jalen Waddle jersey giveaway. Hey, we appreciate you, Steve. Y'all tune in next time.